Okay, it looks like we might have an issue, a little bit of an issue. Uh, if we're having an issue with the connection, just let me know. They're now doing even more work than they were doing before. And apparently, the work that they're doing um, is further expansion of the broadband. Um, hello. Hey there, Kareem. Glad that you could be with us tonight. And welcome back, everyone. I'm going to speak so that hopefully you all can hear me over the background. Can you all hear me okay? Hello, hello, Crystal. Good to see you. How you doing? Can you hear me okay? Absolutely. Good seeing you as well. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, welcome back, and particularly to you. Welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed um, your brief, but more than likely, very necessary um, getaway, your hiatus. Um, Good to have you back. um, no, you don't, you don't have to text Maria. She's all good. Um, they're having a little bit of a convention, um, a few people getting together. But I'm glad that you all can hear me okay. So we're going to just go ahead um, with what it is that I came on to do. So, this said, um, let me just say that we live in a world full of different ideas, beliefs, full of different beliefs, different perspectives. Some people follow different religions, while others hold different political views, right? We're all different people. These differences, however, are normal. They're part of what makes society diverse and what makes us all meaningful as a society. But not everybody is comfortable talking about their differences. Okay, now last night I said that my hope is to touch on um, the differences that we all are facing at the moment so that we're better able to get over um, having the ability to talk to one another. So I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm going to get into the general counsel. Um, Many people, when it comes to conversation, they avoid conversation when they hear about different things, especially beliefs that's different from their own. And instead of listening, well, we have the tendency to shut down. Okay. Um, they may change the subject. Some may walk away, or others even become defensive. It's almost like they put up a wall to protect what they already believe. Many people don't want their beliefs to be altered. Many people don't want to let go of these beliefs. And so they get quite defensive about it. At the same time, some of these same people are very quick, however, even though they get defensive about their beliefs and put their guard up, some of these same people are quick to share their own opinions with others, including you, including me. And when they share those opinions, they speak strongly and confidently, but they don't always give other people the same chance to speak uh, the way that they're speaking to them. Um, we've all, at one time or another, met people who um, don't want you to engage them pertaining to things that you believe or things that you uh, enjoy. However, um, when it comes to them sharing, they don't have any withdrawals or hesitation. This creates a one-sided conversation. It's not really a discussion when you don't want to hear what other people have to say, or those people, but yet the same individuals are willing to share what they have to say, or would like to say, or want to say with other people. Again, this creates a one sided conversation. It's not really a discussion, it's more like a broadcast. When only one person is talking and the other person is not being heard at all, there's no real understanding happening. And without understanding, it becomes easier to judge, it becomes easier to argue, it becomes easier to make assumptions about the other person. Why? Because we're not meeting in the middle. There is no middle ground. You're on one side of the field, they're on the other side of the field. But in order to get anything across to one another, you have to meet somewhere in the middle. And this is that ground where communication happens. Think about it this way: many times, even though there were battles back in the day, right? You'd have a king over here with his army, you have a king over here with their army. And before they went into battle, what they would do is they would ride their horses out into the middle of the field. And this is where they would talk, they would engage with one another, right? And so the hope is to perhaps maybe come to some sort of an agreement so that we don't have to fight, so that there is no battle. We can ride back to our prospective camps, our prospective armies, and we can let them know, listen, we've resolved these issues and there is no battle that's necessary. Um, but without listening to each other, without talking to one another, if there's been a cutoff with communication, well, then there's not going to be any middle ground. There's not going to be any understanding that the individuals come to. Um, this, again, allows for people to easier argue because they don't understand where the other person is coming from. Another serious effect of this problem is how it damages relationships, right? Families, friends, loved ones are often torn apart because of small disagreements, whether it's about religion, whether it's about politics, whether it's about some other relationship. What starts as a simple conversation can simply turn into an argument very, very fast, very quickly. Over time, those arguments can create distance where people don't want to deal with each other anymore. People may stop talking, they can avoid gatherings or feel uncomfortable around those that once they felt closest to back in the day. In some cases, relationships that once meant everything begin to fall apart. But it doesn't have to be that way. It is very much possible to have meaningful conversations while still protecting those relationships. When talking to family, talking to friends or loved ones, it's important to start from a place of care, a place where both individuals care about what's actually being said. If you remind the person that you're speaking with that they matter to you, if we say something like, listen, I care about you, I want you to understand this, or our relationship is more important to me than this disagreement. I want you to know that I love you and I enjoy the friendship that we have, or the communication that we have, cousins, best friends, neighbors, coworkers, siblings. If you say something like that, it can lower the tension and set the tone for a respectful conversation, letting the individuals know that I care and I care about you. way more than I care about this disagreement. You don't have to see things my way. I don't have to see things your way. And we can agree on that and still communicate. And that's the hope. Okay. Um, Another uh, thing is caring and showing that care also helps uh, us to choose our words carefully. It allows them to choose their words carefully as well. If you speak in a calm and understanding way, instead of sounding like you're attacking, um, if we say something like, I see things differently, but I do respect your opinion. And I'd like to also understand your point of view. This keeps the conversation open instead of turning into a confrontation. Another key is to focus on understanding and not so much winning an argument or a disagreement or what some people refer to as a debate. If we look at asking questions like, why is it that you believe what you believe? What is it that led you to believe that? And listen, why do you still believe what you believed for so many years? Why did you believe that long? Can you help me understand from your perspective? When people feel like they're being heard, they're actually more likely to listen in return. It's also okay to set boundaries. If a conversation becomes too heated, getting too hot, um, you can say, listen, I don't want us to argue. Let's take a break and pick up this conversation a little bit later. For now, let's just enjoy this time, spending time with one another. You're my favorite cousin. Uh, we're brothers and sisters, best of friends. I don't like where this feeling is going right now. Let's just put this on pause and come back. And then pick up from there, talking about something else. But it keeps the communication open. Choosing peace over proving a point actually helps protect the relationship. A meaningful conversation doesn't require agreement. You can have a meaningful conversation and be disagreeing with everything the person says, but yet enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the conversation. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with people and we disagree, but the communication is open. And at times, at the end of the conversation, we're in agreement. Sometimes I'm agreeing with them, sometimes they're agreeing with me, but we left the door open. Success in communication simply means that both people feel respected, heard, and valued. You can walk away with different beliefs and still maintain a strong, healthy relationship and still have your brother, still have your sister, still have your friend, still have your neighbor. A disagreement does not have to be the end of a friendship or that family bond. The same principles that apply to personal conversations, believe it or not, also apply to organizations, especially those that's built around people who share the same beliefs. And when it comes to religious organizations or nonprofit groups, when people with strong beliefs come together in leadership, disagreements are still possible, which is why structure, roles, and accountability become so important. Because even though we share a belief, you're still going to end up with different disagreements. I've been in the house of prayer for over 44 years, 45 years. And even though we believe the same things, where there's disagreements in the meeting, whether we should do this, whether we should do that, there's different groups with different responsibilities, two common structures um, in the organization. The House of Prayer is the General Council and the General Assembly. Now, I've talked about the General Assembly so that you all understand that the General Assembly is nothing more than a very large board of directors. The difference is, instead of being called directors, they're called delegates, individuals being nominated and elected by each individual congregation to go to the meeting, which is a general assembling of members from around the organization. And as such, as such, okay, I just got a text. And for the person that just texted me, I actually said last night in the video I did last night, that I would be talking about exactly what I'm talking about right now. This didn't have anything to do with the conversation that we had. This is what I talked about last night. Conversation we had was earlier today. So again, many of you individuals that call from time to time, if I'm referring to something in our conversations, I will always credit that conversation by saying I was talking to somebody earlier, or I was talking to a group of people earlier, and we talked about such and such, and I'll share that conversation. But I've also said quite often things may seem like I'm talking about certain things that you all know that you've spoken to me about. But if I don't directly refer to that conversation, then I'm not talking about that conversation. This is all in general. And this is, again, a subject that last night I said I actually wanted to do the video before this. So I wrote notes down about 4 or 5 days ago, because this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, talk about this particular subject. With that in mind, um, it's necessary that, again, we understand that it's very much possible to have disagreements, but yet still be able to keep the lines of communication open. Um, and talking about this, we should all know and realize that this is an issue all over our organization that we should have been talking about a long time ago, because this happens so very often within our organization, for members who are still attending, for members who are not attending. Many of you have seen, witnessed, felt the receiving end of individuals that cut communication off if you don't believe what they believe. Um, and as a result, we have a lot of individual family members, friends, people that you've known for 20, 30, 40 years. So, with that said, I talked about the General Assembly. Um, and in the General Assembly, I've stated that the General Assembly is a large board of directors. Um, and as a board of directors, the General Assembly is the biggest, most powerful group in the entire organization. The General Assembly is supposed to handle every single thing on the business side, period. But to better understand how these roles should function, let me also talk about some of the roles and the responsibilities of the council. The general council is made up of ministers, pastors, still pastoring in the organization, and others that may not be pastoring still, but they remain on the general council. Uh, to be on the general council, you're either put there by appointment from the bishop or um, by receiving a title of chairman if you raise more money than anybody else in your state. Um, so the general council, their job is to focus on resolving misunderstandings, conflicts, or internal concerns among the members of the organization. That's pretty much where their greatest responsibility is. They may guide spiritual or doctrinal matters, right? Things pertaining to the doctrine of the organization. But they typically serve in an advisory or decision making role for people related issues, right? Um, this, what this looks like, they don't automatically have authority over the finances unless specifically given to them, either by bylaws that the General Assembly agreed to or by the General Assembly. If the General Assembly decides to put to a vote to give roles and responsibilities and obligations to the General Council, then those roles, responsibilities, and obligations come from the General Council or come from the General Assembly. And now the General Council gets busy carrying out the responsibility that's been given to them. Because, once again, the General Assembly is the group of people that give responsibilities throughout the organization to whatever committee, to whatever group, to whatever individual that they decide. They decide. The General Assembly decides the same way a board of director they normally would decide. Board of directors. Um, the General Assembly, however, they serve once again for those who don't understand as the governing body of the organization. The General Assembly, that group of people, they are the governing body of the organization. They are. The General Assembly holds legal responsibility under the 501c3 regulatory agencies. All of these state, local, federal regulatory agencies, they give regulations and rules that tell nonprofits what to do. The only one who hold the responsibility, according to the 501c3, to conduct and carry out all of the legal liabilities and obligations is the General Assembly or the Board of Directors. Period. Period. If the General Assembly or the Board of Directors, if they decide that they are going to hire a CEO or other executive officer, then the General Assembly or the Board of Directors, they give them their responsibilities. They set their responsibilities. Their role, their instructions are received from the General Assembly or the Board of Directors. By law, The regulating agency is going to check with the board or the General Assembly, period. That said, um, the General Assembly, just like a board of directors, we've never done this, but this is why this is so important. These videos are so important to make the members aware of what should have been the entire time. But the General Assembly, they're responsible for overseeing the finances of the organization. The General Assembly, not the General Counsel, not Total Drive staff, not the CEO. Mm-mm. This has been backwards because the people have been fooled and deceived into believing that that role is for the bishop. And the bishop has made the people believe that that responsibility is for the staff at headquarters or the general counsel. They're not supposed to touch the money at all unless the General Assembly or the Board of Directors gives them that responsibility. Now, we know no such thing has occurred. Okay? So we're going to be coming back to this. The General Assembly, they're supposed to oversee the budgets. They're supposed to make a budget for everything that the organization is going to do. Why? Because it's the General Assembly who decides what the organization is going to do. The General Assembly decides what direction the organization is going to go. The General Assembly is the one that has a vision. Look, this is how the bishops have deceived the members of the organization. Look at this. Let me get the most recent so that you all will see, even in this. Okay. So that you understand just how bad this is. Look at this. Constitution and Bylaws, 2024. Okay. Now, this one was pushed through. Look at what it says. Section 5. Section 5. The chief executive officer and spiritual advisor of this organization shall be designated as bishop, and the present bishop, A.D. Cunningham, shall hold the office for the period of his natural life. The General Assembly and the congregations of this organization shall have no power, look at what it says, whatsoever, to interfere with his visions, rights, or powers in building and in making growth in the said organization. Neither shall they have power to judge or condemn him, as he is our high power and our general head on earth, and we shall have no power to judge him. According to the words of the Apostle Paul, he is only to be judged by the Almighty God. Mr. Cunningham, knowing full well that he would have been a brother had I stepped out on that floor, along with the general counsel, along with the general assistant, general assembly secretary, and even the bishop. I would have brought charges to have them all immediately investigated and to have a trial for the removal of the bishop. Mr. Cunningham knows that. And he knows I had all the details in the palm of my hand. So he got busy to have us, me and my wife, removed from the General Assembly along with Mr. Bailey, closed it out, and saw to it, Mr. Cunningham, that we would not be in there again. And since that time, the General Assembly has not heard the minutes of that meeting. Now, after that, he used the councilman to give speeches and tell everybody in here that y'all need to be seeing him as your next bishop. Immediately after that false election, he had himself put inside the Constitution. And this was not written by the General Assembly. This was not proposed by the General Assembly. Once again, Mr. Cunningham, who put himself in the seat as the bishop, has manipulated the entire organization. And this is what we now have. So when you see that it says here that the General Assembly and the congregations of this organization shall have no power whatsoever to interfere with his visions, that means that he has now attempted to strip the power from the members the same way Mr. Bailey did, Mr. Madison did, Mr. McCullough did, and Mr. Grace did. He fell in line with all four of those men and took the power from the people and gave it to himself. And he said, remember, I told you all that a proposal process is a two-step procedure. Proposals must go through the congregations first, right? Remember, the congregations is the House of Representatives in Congress, and they're the ones who's supposed to approve of it and send it over to the General Assembly, which is the same as a Senate in Congress. That's the two-step process for making amendments or changes. The things that the bishops have wanted changed did not go through these procedures. And what Mr. Cunningham did, he saw fit to add this to the book, the Constitution, before the General Assembly was even held, so that the General Counsel, the General Assembly Secretary, and the senior minister can make sure that there's no trial against the bishop, and so that they can make sure, and so that they can make sure, and so that they can make sure that this Constitution stays in place. They wanted to see to it that the power in the hands of the people were nullified with this Constitution. The problem is the law of the land says there's nobody who's over a board of directors. The law of the land says that there's nobody who's over the General Assembly. So it does not matter that he put himself in this book. What matters is that the people have the ability to get rid of the illegal laws in this book and the illegal laws in all of the other books, because every bishop has taken power from the members of the organization and has taken this book to put themselves above everybody, including the General Assembly. Now, these things, according to regulating agencies, are illegal. Why? Because you have to have oversight. This does not provide any oversight to the bishop. It does not provide any oversight to the General Assembly Secretary. It does not provide any oversight to the General Counsel. It provides zero oversight, period. And you cannot have a nonprofit organization with no oversight. You have to have a checks and balance system, which there is none. We've never had a checks and balance system in the entire organization because the bishops were deceiving every single one of us in here. It does not matter. We talked about this too in the beginning of 2 videos ago. It does not matter how much you like them. It does not matter how much you admire them. It does not matter how much you love them. When an individual is breaking the laws are broken. And we need to understand that the laws being kept are more important than how much I like someone. The laws being kept are more important than how much I like someone. So, with that in mind, understanding that the General Assembly, they are the ones who oversee the finances, they oversee the budgets, they oversee the financial policies, they oversee the CEOs, they oversee the bishops, they oversee the General Counsel, they oversee the General Assembly Secretary. There's nobody bigger, more powerful, or who has more authority than the General Assembly. This is what our members need to understand. And at any time, anybody gives the impression that they have more power than the General Assembly, then the very next week, the General Assembly needs to be coming together so that they can get rid of anybody who's giving the organization the understanding or the impression that they hold more authority than the people in the General Assembly. The laws of the land don't back that up. The laws of the land does not support that. The laws of the land says that the body of people have always had authority, have always had power, have always had say so above and beyond any other group in any nonprofit organization, in any institution, which is why I showed you the clip to see that the board of directors, within about 5 minutes' time, took up a vote and dismissed the CEO, who was also the owner of a for-profit company, who also sat in the room as the chairman of the board. But they fired the chairman of the board just like that. Why? Because they understood the authority that they had by law. The General Assembly, they're the ones who appoint individuals, such as a treasurer or even a finance committee. So people saying, so wait a minute, Brother Lewis, I hear you. But we all know that the General Counsel They've been going around and checking books, checking houses, checking second. I know what they've been doing. They know what they've been doing. We all know what they've been doing. But what you did not know is that they were not doing it legally. What you did not know is they never had the law on their side. What you did not know is that the bishops knew very well that they did not have the law on their side. And right now, this current man who calls this current bishop does not have the law on his side. So the General Assembly, you need to understand, they ensure accountability, transparency, and the proper use of the funds of the organization. The people should never, ever, 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 ever be in a position where they don't know what's going on with the money. Think about this. A General Assembly, who is the board of directors, not having any clue, no clue what is going on with the money. You're the board of directors. When it comes to finances, nonprofit law is very clear on this principle. There must always, always be accountability. You must, by law, have accountability. There should never be one red cent that the General Assembly does not have any knowledge of. Every single penny must be accounted for by the board of directors and by the General Assembly. This is why, for those of you who have a credit union, for those of you who are involved in any type of a union, this is why you get notifications whenever they're going to have an election, whenever they're going to have anything with the Treasury. This is why you get notifications that shows you a breakdown of the spending. It shows you what money has been allocated for. It shows you who's receiving it, the purpose that is being used, right? I know there's a convention that they're having. And if you all cannot hear me, let me know. I'll go ahead and close out and I'll pick up tomorrow. But right now, where I live, they're doing a lot of work to expand homes and apartment complexes because people are moving here left and right. So in our clubhouse, thank you. In our clubhouse, it's a little bit way better as far as the connection. So if you can't hear me, let me know. And thank you, Jamal. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, when it comes to the finances, the law is clear. There has to be accountability. You cannot, in any organization, be raising money and the people not know what the money is being used for. That is the number one piece of evidence. It's it's so unbelievable what they've gotten away with. So again, no group, whether a general council or any other body, should have unrestricted access to money without oversight, without accountability. The bishops of the organization should have never, never been able to spend one dime without the people giving their approval. This is why, whew, this is why there's law firms right now that do not believe the organization has lawyers. There's people that they don't believe the information that I'm putting in the videos. That's how absurd this is to people outside. They can't fathom an organization where the people, where nobody knows what's going on with the money. There's people who don't believe. They can't wrap their head around how we don't have a board, or how people in the General Assembly don't have a clue about what they're supposed to do, what their responsibilities are. There's people that don't believe it. Business people around. This is so outside the box that it's hard to even persuade people that this is not a joke, that I'm not joking. The money, if nothing else, has to have oversight, because you're dealing with solicitation permits, you're dealing with state permits, you're dealing with grants, you're dealing with federal funding, state funding, you're dealing with corporate funding, you're dealing with philanthropistic funding, you're dealing with private funding, public fund. You have to have oversight. If nothing else, we need to get the members to understand, if nothing else, that the monies must be accounted for. Period. Um, Jay Banga says, I think the problem is the members don't see the United House of Prayer as a nonprofit organization, or a business for that matter. They simply see the UHOP as God's house and the bishop as a man of God. You're 100%. I mean, it can't get any plainer. And this is what I'm saying, that we need to understand that the government does not see the bishop of the United House of Prayer for All People as God's man. The government does not see the bishops of the House of Prayer as God's man. The government does not see the House of Prayer as God's house. The government does not see the House of Prayer as his anything. The government sees the House of Prayer as a business, period. I played a recording on here 2 videos ago, where you could hear Mr. Cunningham saying that there's two sides in our organization. I can play more. I can allow you to hear other bishops saying it. But the problem is, people, the members of the House of Prayer, at some point in time, we have got to use this. I was so bad at ignoring. Now I look back to see how outside of my own mind I was. But, in my defense, I did not have these videos. I did not have somebody showing me facts. I did not have anybody telling me to go and do research. Go online. You will see for yourself that your bishops are lying. You will see that they're filing falsified records. You'll see that the things that they're filing on behalf of your organization is going to get your organization in a whole lot of trouble. The bishops, over and over and over, okay? The bishops, the bishops, the bishops, they are at fault, whether we want to believe it, whether we like it or not. And the general counsel is the one that they're using to keep your eyes blinded. And the general counsel is not supposed to be doing all these things they're doing at all, which is why they too, when this all goes down, are going to be held accountable, just like the bishop is. So, as we continue going further, the financial responsibilities in any organization should include clear reporting to the governing body. The same way y'all saw in the video where the owner of this huge company, the owner has to answer to the board of directors. The owner has to answer to the board. The owner, this is the owner. And because he did not answer their questions, they fired him. Just like that. That's the power of the board, which is the same as the General Assembly. So what am I saying here? Outside regulating agency, yes, they're reviewing our information. But I continue to allow everybody to understand that either they can come in or we can fix it in the General Assembly. So the financial responsibilities, one, again, there should be clear reporting to the governing body, which is the General Assembly. The governing body in the organization is not the General Counsel. The governing body in the organization is not the General Counsel. The governing body is not the bishop. It's not the bishop. The council and the bishop does not govern the organization. They're supposed to be multiple people appointed by the General Assembly. The General Assembly is supposed to be the ones making committees to look into these different things, the same way a board of directors does. A board of directors, they set up committees, they appoint people, they hire people, they look into every single thing in an organization because that's their responsibility. Nobody else has that responsibility. The General Assembly is supposed to have the same thing. The General Assembly is supposed to also um, have proper documentation of all transactions. So if anything is purchased, the General Assembly is supposed to be aware of it. If anything is spent, the General Assembly is supposed to be aware of it. If the General Assembly is not aware of it, there's supposed to be an investigation because not one dime is supposed to go unreported. Not one dime. But the General Assembly knows what? Nothing. And what happens? They allow the General Counsel to come in, even though the General Counsel has nothing to do with the General Assembly. They allow them to come in and literally take over the General Assembly. And who is at fault? The people. This is why I'm saying there's a need to learn the law because they can only do these things if the people understand what's necessary. And this is why we're going over the laws. The financial responsibilities should also include oversight by the General Assembly or the General Assembly appointing financial officers. All of that is the responsibility of the General Assembly. All of it. A general counsel, however, what they can do, they can be given the power by the General Assembly. They can be given limited financial responsibilities. They can be told that you can check on this, but you leave everything else alone. They're told, they're demanded, they're not asked, they're not requested. The General Assembly gives them orders, period. But they have tricked the members into believing that no, we give y'all orders, y'all don't give us any orders. But you all are going to understand that that is illegal. And when they are brought before individuals whose job it is to ensure compliance in this organization, then these men you are going to see are going to pay a dear price for deceiving and manipulating and convincing individuals that they had the authority to do what they've been doing illegally all these years. Now, they also can be given the opportunity to offer input on decisions if the General Assembly allows it. They can help guide certain actions if the General Assembly allows it. But the council 100% should not ever control funds without reporting. They shouldn't be going around and collecting money. They shouldn't be on no cash registers. They should have nothing whatsoever to do with the money. Period. Period. They should not have unchecked access to accounts. If the General Assembly gives them the power to do certain things or whatever, then even then there's supposed to be a oversight committee checking to make sure that they do everything. Look. When a pastor brings the books with their secretary during convocation, that entire process is known as checking. The General Council, every single year, they call the pastors and the secretary and they go through the financial records. They go through the financial records. This is called checking. Checking. They go through all of this. And they're doing exactly what the General Assembly is supposed to be doing. The General Assembly is supposed to have people to check behind everything in this organization. Every single thing. And that's why we're going over how the law is supposed to regulate these things, what they're supposed to be doing, versus what the House of Prayer has been doing and apparently getting away with until these things have been brought forward. So, with this in mind, they are also not supposed to operate outside the authority of the governing board. Now, what that means is the General Counsel, just like the CEO, the bishop, is supposed to answer to the General Assembly. You are the board of directors, and the CEO is supposed to answer to you, just like the video clip that I showed. The man come walking in with a man that the board of directors did not know who that person was. They asked him, "Who is he?" And he didn't answer. They fired him. Not playing no games. They fired him. The General Assembly do the same thing. Mr. Cunningham has Mr. Rodriguez Murray's name on the ownership paperwork of the House of Prayer as a beneficial owner of the organization. Him and Mr. Murray. Why do you two have your names as beneficial owners? Why did Mr. Cunningham put anybody's name there? Why is it that he put him and Mr. Murray's name there? Why did Mr. Murray's name get put on the paperwork that shows the government that he's the owner of the trade name? Why is he placed on a board of directors that the members don't know anything about? Why is he placed on two boards that the members don't know anything about? How is he being made the registered agent of the organization that the members don't know anything about? These are all things that the General Assembly is supposed to be on top of. The General Assembly is supposed to be doing all of these things. Every last thing I just mentioned. And there's not supposed to be one thing, not one secret, not one action, not one transaction, not one penny spent on something that the General Assembly does not know about. And Mr. Cunningham has been using the General Assembly Secretary and the General Counsel to manipulate the entire organization, just like every bishop did before him. Except now, Mr. Cunningham has gone 10 times worse. To manipulate the laws this bad, to give him rights, and benefits, to do anything he wants, including break the laws, and there's nothing that the people can do about it. People, it is beyond time. So continue paying attention, because now we're going to close out with what it is that they should have been doing and not been doing, and keeping things separate. The point that I'm making is this. Ultimately, authority within a nonprofit organization comes from its bylaws. These documents should clearly define who is responsible for decision making, financial oversight, and accountability. Whenever those rules are respected and followed, it helps prevent confusion, conflict, and yes, even legal issues. Just like in personal relationships, healthy communication and clear boundaries are key, whether in a family or an organization. People don't always have to agree, but they must learn how to work together with respect, responsibility, and accountability. In the end, strong relationships and strong organizations are built the same way, through understanding, honest communication, and a commitment to doing what's right, not just for ourselves, but for everyone involved. Then we should be able to successfully move on as we bring things back into proper perspective. As it stands currently, this General Counsel, they do care nothing. They don't care nothing about the members of this organization, the same way that the bishops never did. The General Assembly Secretary, Mr. Jimmy Jones, every single councilman, along with Mr. Cunningham, has taken the people and sat you all to the side while doing everything they can to keep all this information hidden from you, so that you would never come into the knowledge that you have always been their boss and they have never, ever been yours. So says the law of the land. Crystal says, the General Counsel knows all. They operate out of fear. They know that the bishop and his people have dirt on them all. You don't have to say this out loud. Too much. Crystal, you'd be surprised. Many of these videos, I've been saying all of this. All of this. The council has dirt on each other. They have dirt on the bishop got dirt on them. They all know what's going on. But the point is that, like you said, my question is, should it have gotten this far? And if our laws were working the way they're supposed to be working, we wouldn't be here right now. If any one of them had listened to me 13, 14 years ago, we wouldn't be here right now. But the simple fact of the matter is that laws are being broken all over the place. And when we started looking into things more things being uncovered. Uh, there's people um, that are looking into everything that has apparently been covered up, and they're coming up with all kinds of things. Some of it we can bring forward, some we can't. Again, it's so disturbing, the things that we're finding out. Um, Mr. Cunningham has been involved in, the general councilman has been involved in, and the thing is that they know, and they're so nervous right now because at the point where they're up in age, all these things are catching up with them. Same thing with Miss Dolores Madison. There's things coming out that we had no idea. And unfortunately, we can confirm now it's been every single bishop, every single one that's been involved in things, many things immoral, and many things unethical, and many things dishonest. All three: immoral, unethical, and dishonest. And the bishops are supposed to be walking the line like a tightrope. Instead, this is why I keep showing this picture, because these men will get up here just like this and sit in a position where they make you think that they're holier than anybody on the planet by lying to you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, making you all believe that they themselves are the figment of Him, that they themselves represent the Most High, that they themselves have. I remember Mr. Bailey even said, when you hear Him, you hear His voice. These are the lies that they so brazenly speak. This man has said countless times that he himself is a God. This man calls himself a God. A God. I don't know what in the world type of God, other than a devil, fallen angel, is going to lie the way that he lies and manipulate people the way that he manipulates, and just take and steal and take. Has no care, no concern, no consideration. Everything that he's doing is about taking from people. And the face, the expressions, all of it is out of anger, only because you're being exposed. Mr. Taylor, another council member, Mr. Jimmy Jones, Mr. Ladisall, Mr. Commodore, traveling around to say things about myself or anybody else who is exposing you. Why would you get up to assassinate somebody's character or talk about someone in such a way that turns people against them, just because they're following the law and they're trying to bring you forward and hold you accountable for breaking the law? It's a dirty individual, less than a slug, that will break laws, hide things behind people, use poor people, senior citizens, babies, and infants, and take people's trust to manipulate them with it so that you can take money, while the whole time lying through your teeth, while looking people dead in the eyes to give them what you call a sermon, while trying to persuade and convince them into believing that you represent all of heaven. If that's not Satan, I don't know what is. And for people to be so manipulated while you continue to take from them, and when people come forward to expose you, you get angry about it. If there was any remorse whatsoever, some people who have a conscience and a heart they come forward and says, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But no, you all are running even harder, trying desperately to flee from this image that you can't get away from because all the facts are the facts. And what I'm showing now is that what you've been doing as a general counsel, all of it, you should have never been doing while convincing the people that this is your responsibility. The functions of the house of prayer are activities that are supposed to be focused on worship, faith, and community life. That's the religious side. That's supposed to stay there. Examples is the services, prayer, meetings, revivals, Sunday school, Bible studies, teaching programs, outreach events, or ministry programs. All those things, that's that side. Spiritual growth, worship and teaching, building community and faith, that's that side. Led by ministers or spiritual leaders, often expressed through music, hand clapping, singing of songs, centered around beliefs. That's all that side. But the business functions, the business function that relates to the nonprofit operating legally and financially, that's on the other side. And the general counsel, you should have nothing to do with that. The pastors should have nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. The business side is operated, everything in it, by the General Assembly, conducting as a board of directors. And everybody, including the bishop, is subject to the General Assembly. So when the General Assembly comes and this General Council is laughing in their face while having people sit there for hours and hours and waiting for the CEO to walk through the door so that they can clap their hands and give him $1, it is the biggest gotcha. Another year. You fools have been played again. Mr. Lewis being the biggest fool because I was bringing left and right people into this while being indoctrinated. Did not understand. And yes, they call us fools. Yes, they call you stupid. They call you dumb. They call you ignorant. They call you foolish. They call you uneducated. All these things. But we don't believe it because we tell ourselves, well, they would never hurt us. They're there to love us. They love us. They care about us. They're concerned about us. But how many of the people have they helped? How much love have you seen from Mr. Cunningham during the government furlough? How much love did he give to the organization? When there's any type of emergency situation where people are in need, how much love did you see from him? When he rolled up in a $500,000 to $1 million car and got his hands out for more money, Mr. Taylor, all the money that he's collecting over there. Why? Because he's telling you what you want to hear, telling you lies. To believe in him, and you're going to be blessed. All these members catching the public city bus, public transportation. Some people, nothing wrong with public transportation. Some people ride it because they choose to. But others ride it because they don't have a choice. Because pastors, chairmen, councilmen are lying to the people so much that they keep pouring all that they have inside the house of prayer, all of it, while they smile in your face. And then they don't do anything for you either. The pastors and the councilmen don't do nothing for the members either. And for those of you who say, well, no, I know a sister that they did this for, you're missing my point entirely. I'm talking about the organization as a whole, because it's the organization as a whole that they continuously disrespect over and over and over and over again, week in and week out. And they go home and laugh. They have meetings in their houses. They have meetings in hotels. They have conference calls on the phone while setting up the lies that they're going to pull across to you, while keeping you right there where you are, coming to a general assembly, falling asleep while nothing gets done. And I'm telling you that the general assembly is supposed to be dealing with the business of the organization. And the general assembly needs to be bringing these men in so that they can face up for all of the lies and the manipulating and the complete destruction that they have brought into the organization. This year, for the first time ever in the organization, the General Assembly needs to become what the law says it is. The board of directors, through the mouths of the members that come from around the organization to attend to the business at hand, not to come so that you can be lied to again, not to come so that you can be deceived again, not to come believing and thinking that you got to be subject to these people. They know for a fact that you are the one in charge of them, that you are the ones that allow them to do what they do by your lack of knowledge. I was at fault as well. All of the general assemblies that I sat in, just watching them do the stuff that they do, never even thinking for once to compare this to the laws of the land. Not once. The business function of the General Assembly is to elect leaders and officers. The General Assembly should be electing all the leaders. Chairmans are not made by CEOs. Mm-mm. They're supposed to be put through a vetting process to make sure that they're stand-up men, honest men, almighty fearing men who's going to be trustworthy, because they're being put in a position where they're going to be over people to influence and persuade them. You direct meetings. The General Assembly is supposed to be over that. The General Assembly is supposed to give budget approvals. The General Assembly is supposed to be giving financial reporting. The General Assembly is supposed to be making policies, making the decisions about these policies. The General Assembly, not the bishop. The bishop not supposed to know nothing going on unless the General Assembly allow him to know. In this case, the bishop knows everything, and the people know nothing. And the general council is running circles around the people, while the people standing here without a clue. People, we have got to do better. And we only have a few weeks. The purpose of the business side of the General Assembly is for governance and accountability. The legal compliance for this organization is in the General Assembly, especially for 501c3s. The General Assembly provides, again, decision making and the oversight. The General Assembly is supposed to be formal and structured, not having bands to play whenever the CEO walks in the door, not breaking out in song when the CEO walked through the door. Here's your kicker. When you are sitting in that meeting, you're supposed to be arriving at the same time so that when the meeting starts, everybody's present. The bishop has nothing to do with the General Assembly. The CEO, who's not supposed to be the bishop, the CEO is supposed to be there already before the meeting starts. You want to know where the CEO is supposed to be sitting? The CEO is supposed to be sitting down in one of those pews. The CEO is supposed to be sitting in a pew. The pastors of the organization are supposed to be sitting in one of those pews with the people. The general councilmen are supposed to be sitting in one of those pews with the people. And the only person that should be standing on the floor at the microphone, along with a chair and maybe a table, is the chairperson, otherwise known as the General Assembly Secretary. And he stands on the floor with the people. He might have a chair and a table, but that's so that he can sit back and look. Let me, right here. I forgot I did this earlier today. But pay attention.
So I will say this. Do the right thing, Attorney General. Meet with the survivors. They have been asking for a year. Meet with the survivors. Do the right thing. I yield back.
Shirley yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
May I have 20 seconds of his time?
So that'd be up to the gentleman, but
Absolutely, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, that is a real assembly. That's a real assembly. And what you heard was one person who had time to say whatever they wanted to say. And then they said, I yield back to the chairman. And the chairman directed who's going to speak next and told them, you have 5 minutes. Now, those people in the room sat there waiting for their turn. The chairman said, you have 5 minutes. Somebody said, may I take 20 seconds to speak on da 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 da? The chairman said these words, I can't do that. That's up to the gentleman who has the floor. If they want to give you 20 seconds of their time, that's up to them. That's a real assembly. The General Assembly Secretary, all he does is direct who talks. And decisions are made with motions being put on the floor and put to a vote. All in favor, period. So, with that in mind, this is how every single thing flows. Peace Abide says, let the outside agencies come in as the members that go to the General Assembly are too indoctrinated to do anything. The General Council have hijacked the General Assembly. I understand, but we don't want the outside to come in unless it's absolutely necessary. We have a lot of people who wants the outside to come in, but it's only because they don't understand the power that they have. And also, whenever I talk about the people, we have thousands of members. But when we say the people, those two words, many people are thinking, well, everybody is for Cunningham, Mr. Cunningham. They're not. Everybody is for Mr. Lewis and supporting the law. They're not. We have a mixed crowd of people. When it comes to the General Assembly, however, the only thing that's necessary is for one person to put a motion on the floor, for another person to second that motion, and then a vote to be called, and then see what the people do. He's the only one who knows what's going to happen in any of these given circumstances and situations. We don't. All we can do is prepare and see what happens. Um, however, um, outside is reviewing information right now, and they may make the determination to come in, uh, and we don't know. If they do come in, they can work with us or not work with us. Um, but if the members stand up and understand that they've been lied to, then that's the easiest way to get them to no longer be indoctrinated. The one that you love lied to you. The one that you listen. How does a woman look at a man when she finds out that he has three other families and they've been married for 30 years, but he's got three other families and he taking care of these other families that the woman don't know nothing about? Or a man who finds out that this woman has three other families that he don't know anything about. Is this possible? How's that possible? Come on now. It's possible because some men travel. Some men, especially military, are gone for one upward of a year. They don't know. And all kinds of things going on. How would you feel? Would you just let whatever be and leave it for what it is? So we have members that need to understand that your trust is being taken so that you can be lied to steal from you, to take from you, to run circles around you, while you look like the fill in the blank that they call you. That's where we were. Now, this is too easy. This is too easy. All we have to do is look and follow, and the law's on our side. It can't get any easier than this. So for the people to understand that the power is yours and that they have stripped the laws to take power away, now you can do something about it. Before, the members would never do anything because they didn't know. Now we know. So absolutely, if the people don't, then yeah, outside can, and they probably will still come in if they determine to. Um, but we can't bank on that because we don't know how long it's going to take them if they decide to come. Right? So the people have always had the power. The people need to be the ones to fix this because if we fix this from inside, then we dictate how we're going to fix it. They fix it from outside. They dictate how they're going to fix it. Right? So it's a roll of the dice if we leave things for them. If the people don't do anything, yeah, they need to come in because the people don't want to do anything. They need to come in to stop the leaders from taking advantage of our people and this organization. But we don't want them to come in. We want to fix this ourselves so that we can fix it. But again, we have to sit back and wait and see. Um, yes, the bishop has taken over everything. Yes, he has, by changing the laws. Um, absolutely, he has. Um, Crystal says, I believe that. Corinne says, you said all three bishops. Please clarify. Is it three of them or all five have been confirmed? All the bishops. I may have misspoken, but I've said in the last video, the last video, all the bishops have been involved in all kinds of things, period. Every single one, and it's been confirmed. Every single bishop. Even if they haven't been involved in the same things, they've been involved in the same kinds of things. But all we need to know is that they've broken our laws in the house of prayer. So it doesn't matter if they're walking a tightrope. They did everything right, but violated one law. Keep in mind, one law is only needed to remove them. Because the bishop should not be breaking any of the laws. Not when you have people around this entire organization, calling you, Your Honor, Supreme. You are supposed to be the example over everything. But yet, if you're breaking the law, this is why I keep showing this. How can you be a judge to judge anyone? How are you judging anyone when you're busy running from the law? This man is a violator of many, 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 many laws, and he's covering up for people violating the laws. And right now we have people who's investigating some other things that are immoral that he's been covering up and hiding, but you got paperwork with you and Mr. Murray all over it. See, these things have to be undone, and it must be brought to the General Assembly. That's the only. Why do y'all think he's doing his best to keep me out of the General Assembly? If we had 400 members like me or anybody else who stands up and speak out, what would happen if the General Assembly was not controlled? Mr. Cunningham and the council controls the General Assembly. Why? Because they're violating the laws and they cannot afford for the people to know it. Well, it's too late now because you all know it. Um, uh, Thank you for that question, B. Merriman. Talk about it, Pastor. Crystal says that's not the Holy Ghost that I was taught about. Absolutely, it's not. What he's doing, the lying, the manipulating, the whole thing, that's not what we're taught. Not the spirit from him. Again, the tree is known by the fruit that it bears. So let me get through the rest of this. Should the General Assembly and the General Council be held the same way? No. The General Council is not conducted the way the General Assembly is. They're supposed to be kept separate. The same way that the CEO and the bishop are supposed to be kept separate. The CEO should never be the bishop. The bishop should never be the CEO, because the merging of the two is going to create problems. And this is why we're here. That's why we're here. Because one person has been wearing different hats, and it has created an entire complete mess. A religious service is for worship and spiritual connection. That stays there. The law don't care. They don't care if you're Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, Seventh-day Adventist, Protestant. They don't care. But everyone, Methodist, Protestant, Seventh-day Adventist, Presbyterian, every one of them that raise money, the government is involved. You must follow and comply with the laws of the land. I don't care what faith you are. I don't care what beliefs you are. But when you have money, when you break the laws of the land, we're going to come in there and arrest you just like we're arresting everybody else. So they need to stay separate. General Council, they get their rules and responsibilities from the General Assembly. The General Assembly is over everybody. Same thing with the bishop. For a 501c3, the business decisions, every one of them, are clearly documented. They're supposed to be properly voted on, and they're supposed to be transparent. Every single one of them. Trying to do these things in a general council will create confusion about who's voting. It'll lead to poor record keeping, and it'll raise questions about whether decisions were properly made. And that's why the general council never reads minutes, because they know that the people will never agree to the things that they're doing in that general council and the actions that they're carrying out and conducted on behalf of the bishops. All of it. I would dare to say everything they're doing is illegal. But I'm going to say more than half, which is why no one knows anything, because you're never allowed to read the minutes. All of that is illegal. And they're only getting away with it because the people are allowing it. So This side has nothing to do with that side. You all remember me talking about this. But the simple breakdown is that the religious functions stay here, the business functions stay here. The legal and the organizational focus is on this side, and the General Assembly covers everything, the religious side and the spiritual side. The General Assembly, they elect a bishop because they're over the religious side as well as the business side. Okay. Bottom line is the General Assembly is the governing body. They are the head, period. What makes it fair is that the governing body is made up of people from all over the organization. That way, you can't get into picks and favoritism. Why? Because every year the delegates change. That's what makes it fair. And the people tell them what to do through votes. This is why a CEO should never, ever be made a CEO for his entire life, which is not what the people did. That's further evidence that the bishop has taken complete control of the organization through manipulating the Constitution. And these are things that are waiting to be brought forward outside, but we can fix it inside. With all that said, let's go ahead and close out. Uh, Devona says 2026 General Assembly. UHOP members, UHOP delegates, take a stand, ask questions. Yeah, ask questions now. In the General Assembly, you don't want to ask questions. You want to make motions. I'm going to tell you all what to say. I'm going to show you all what to do. In the next few days, the next few weeks, I'm going to be showing in case we make it to a General Assembly. We may not make it. Outside might come in. But in case we make it, I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to show you what to say. And this is what I've been saying in all these previous videos. Don't worry about anything right now. Keep watching, and we're going to cover it. Um, this is why I'm talking about the different parts. The General Assembly Secretary, the CEO, the chairman of the. This is why I'm talking about it. There's a lot to learn, but go over these lessons. They're being numbered for a reason. Um, Crystal says they don't know parliamentary procedure. Exactly. Right. And this is why we were saying that the people need to learn, right? We need to understand. So if you don't understand, don't worry about it. We're going to be going over it. And again, I'm going to be telling you what to say. And in your own time, go online, go on YouTube, look up parliamentary procedure. We're going to be talking about Robert's Rules of Order. And I'm going to be showing you why we're talking about it. So prepare yourselves because we have a little bit to cover. Crystal, parliamentary procedure. Exactly. And it's coming up. Peace abide. B. Meverman says, I agree. Hold General Counsel accountable. Yes, they will be held accountable. Every single General Counsel member, every single one, every pastor, along with the bishop, along with the General Assembly Secretary and staff, along with his headquarters staff, along with Miss Dolores Madison, anybody else in affiliation. Okay, y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea. Y'all don't even know. There's been so much money stealing in the organization from people in positions, which is why, listen, look, I'm going to read one more thing to you. Maybe one more thing. Here we go. I had the wrong book. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay.
I've been building verses on my side. Heaven and earth are finally aligned. These are good.
All right. So in the Supreme Law, there is a law that says that any member, and I'm glancing over, any member here it is. Okay. Section A. Look at this. Article 29. All church records, receipts, cancel checks, and books must be brought to the state headquarters for convocation and reported to the general counsel. A new book will be used for future records. Why did the bishop? Because the bishops, they write these books. This book is not written by the members. It's written by the bishops. Why did the bishops write for the people? All church records, receipts, canceled checks, and books be brought to state headquarters. Why are they reported to the general counsel? Because the general counsel is in on it. The general counsel is the ones making sure that the book work looks legitimate. It looks legitimate. But he wants your work to be checked. But he doesn't want anything on him to be checked. This is why I talk about the love march. Why is it that when the bishop is in town, nothing on that night? Don't y'all realize every single service, you have pans being passed around, pan. And those pans go to the secretary's table. And the secretary counts the money. And the money is jotted down. And an announcement is made. At this time, we're going to have our house offering report coming from our secretary. This time, we're going to have our rally coming from our. At this time, we're going to have. Why? Everything's documented. Why is it that the only service in the entire organization where the money is not documented is when the bishop is in town? Why is it that the bishop can collect money coming down the aisle, collect, and put it right in his pocket? Right in his pocket. Money's coming from the houses for convocation, G class. Goes straight into an envelope, goes with him, goes to them, goes outside the door. The round marches, the love marches, all that money comes in. Nobody writing it. Secretary's not counting it. It goes right outside that door. Don't y'all know that this is a legal activity? And the board, which is the General Assembly has no knowledge of how much money is being collected. These are all practices that need to be changed. And the only way it can be changed is by the people. Now, in this book, it tells us that the people that get caught, one, the people that get caught I need to come back to this in the next video. Right here. I'm going to come back to this. Article 28. Look. All pastors must check the house in which he pastors weekly. Look at section B. Any officer or member charged and found guilty of misappropriating church funds shall be, what does that say? Liable for civil action. That means anybody who misappropriate money and they find out about it, you're going to be liable to a court order. Outside, they're going to take you to court outside for civil action. That means the House of Prayer is going to sue you. That means the bishop is going to sue you. They're going to send you to court and they're going to sue you. Right? They're going to sue you. However, when it comes to these other laws, we have other laws that says that the members should not take anybody to court outside the house of prayer. You should only take them to court inside the house of prayer. And you should allow them to deal with it. You know why that is? It's because they want to take care of the things that they're taking care of the way they need to take care of it, because they need to cover it up. They need to make it look like it's been taken care of legally, even though it's not. Now, I'm going to come back to some of those statements that I made in the next video that we do. I just wanted to cover the general counsel and why they are not supposed to be doing anything whatsoever with the money. That's completely, totally separate from the business side, what they're supposed to be doing. But let me go ahead and close this out. Devona said, ask questions. I'm going to say in all of these videos, ask your questions. When you get there, we're going to tell you what to say, because the people in charge, board of directors, they don't ask the CEO for anything other than, they demand information. When a board is asking questions, what they're doing is demanding information. And the CEO knows that they better answer or else they're out. It's that simple. I plead the fifth, says strong arm robbery. Yes, it is. Top of the world. Cunningham doesn't care if the members know about the mess he's done. He now acts like he doesn't care, but he does. He really, really does. And he certainly doesn't want people to know everything, right? But you're right. He's acting like he doesn't care because, quite frankly, it's going to be out. It's coming out anyway, and there's nothing he can do about it. If he could control this, trust me, this wouldn't be out. Remember, in the beginning when we made these videos, when we started, They interfered with our channel, right? He wanted this whole thing shut down. Don't get it twisted. He does not, he can't stand what's going on, but they can't stop it. So he's only acting like it's not bothering him. But believe me, it's eating him up. And we're not trying to make it eat him up. We're trying to hold him accountable along with the other leaders in here for all the violations to the laws, just like our law says, like the law of the land says. We want to hold you accountable for breaking the laws, which you yourself, you call yourself holding people accountable, but you don't want to be held accountable. See, so this is supposed to go both ways, right? It's not supposed to be one-sided. It's supposed to go both ways. Um, that's the way Devona says. That's the way a real General Assembly is supposed to be conducted, right? Not hurried up because I'm getting hungry. Shake my head. Right, Devona. I remember I was there in Charlotte when Mr. Bailey said he's getting hungry, so we need to hurry up and close this meeting down. That's an individual who's controlling the meeting, right? It's not a real meeting. None of the meetings in the House of Prayer has been real. The council sessions have not been real. Court has not been real. General Assembly has not been real. They've controlled every single thing in here and made you all believe that they're getting business done. It's all been a sham, every single bit of it. And you're right. The video clip that I showed is how a real assembly is supposed to be conducted, with the chairman giving time and sit back. You say anything you want to say, and we're going to deal with it afterwards. Top of the World says, it seems like knocking the members down by continuing to say what they don't know. Why not just teach them? That's how we learn. No, I'm not knocking them down. What I'm saying is for people who says they don't want to know, they don't want to learn. The problem, as I've said on countless times, when you're talking to a mixed population of people, it's like the Messiah. The Messiah said, to those who have ears to hear, let them hear. That means everybody can't hear what he's saying. He's not talking to everybody. Some things, when he said, you're a generation of vipers, he wasn't calling the people that. When he talked about hypocrites, whited sepulchres, he was talking about the leaders in the temple. Some things apply to some people, not everything. Some things are thrown out there in general. So in my speaking, everybody, don't take offense to what I'm saying. Keep in mind, I'm calling myself a fool. I'm calling myself ignorant. I'm calling myself stupid. I'm calling myself a dummy, because I need you to understand that everything that I'm applying to all of us goes to me as well. I'm not insulting anyone. So hear carefully the things that I'm saying. Don't get offended by the things that I'm saying. Don't be bothered by the things that I'm saying. Don't be irritated by the things that I'm saying, because I couldn't be saying anything at all. We've all been lied to and manipulated and taken for a ride. And now, as a result of all this information, people are beginning to see what has been going on behind closed doors. So if I say we're just a bunch of stupid idiots, I'm saying me also. When I say that they're making fun of us, that's exactly the comment that I'm talking about, because they are calling us a bunch of stupid idiots. People have actually said that they've heard these conversations inside the parsonages. So bottom line is, people, I'm not doing this to waste my time. I'm not doing none of this to waste my time. I'm doing this so that I can teach, so that I can share, so that I can wake everyone up. But if you happen to be getting offended, I can't help that. If you happen to think that I'm coming at you, then you're not paying attention. If you happen to think anything whatsoever negative about what I'm doing on this channel, then you are certainly not paying attention. Go back and listen to more of the videos. Okay. John the Baptist could not please everybody. The Messiah could not please everybody. But if we learn to listen without getting pricked, if we learn to listen without being so sensitive, if we learn to listen and appreciate the information. Just like a teacher in college, a professor, they may throw out a whole bunch of statements. But if all their statements is hitting me and I go to them, they're going to say, Joe, I wasn't talking about you. I'm making general statements to help enhance the lesson so that we can understand exactly what's being said. So, with that in mind, um, I appreciate what you're saying, top of the world. However, what we all need to understand is not to be so sensitive. Okay. Um, Hear me when I talk about me. And when I talk about anybody other than me in the organization, accept it as a generalized statement. If I'm talking about any one individual, then you'll hear me talk about that person. Again, I appreciate your comments. But yes, I'm teaching and telling. If I just give the information, everybody's not going to hear it. Sometimes it takes someone to pop us on the head, like Mama used to do, to get our attention, to let us know how stupid we are if we're ignoring the facts. And by telling us, everyone, that outside they don't believe this information, that our members are not paying attention, that our members don't understand what's going on, that our members don't even know parliamentary procedure, that the bishops have been doing what they've been doing. It's outside that's laughing at us inside. So you all really need to agree with me when I say, yeah, we've been stupid. Even the scripture, again, when the Father said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," this I was talking about earlier today. Um, but that's our fault, not us, but them. If they were destroyed for lack of knowledge, the Father had already given them the knowledge. He had already given them the instructions. He already told them what to do. But it's up to them to do it. And if they don't do what he told them to do, right? 28th chapter of Deuteronomy, he gave them a list of blessings and he gave them a list of curses. He left it up to them to choose. Do y'all want the blessings? Do everything over here. Y'all want the curses? Do everything over here. So when he says they were destroyed for a lack of knowledge, he's saying they were destroyed. I didn't get up to save them. I told them what to do to avoid the destruction that was sure to come by not learning, by not taking heed, by not following instructions. So yeah, this is us. It's our fault. We're here because of us. Us. Mr. Cunningham could not be running circles if the people didn't let it happen. The general council couldn't be doing the things that they did if the people didn't let it happen. Our little girls and boys, all this stuff going on behind closed doors, if we keep on trusting that all these people mean us well, while all these stories are coming out from all these people telling you what's been going on, telling you what happened to them, telling you, and I'm telling you what the law says. If we don't pay attention and listen, then yeah, it's our fault. So, like I said, we didn't have this information before, but now we have this information. The question is, what are we going to do about it? I'm going to keep on putting out more information. I'm going to keep on telling and teaching everyone. But the question is, what are you going to do with the information? So thank you very much. That's a very good point. As Corian says, okay, if the outside agencies come in, they're going to say who will govern while they're investigating. If we make it to the General Assembly and people do, who will govern it? Um, Not so much. There's an expectation that if they come in, they will work with us. That's an expectation. It's not guaranteed because outside does not have to work with us. That's a normal procedure. But anybody looking at government right now, the agencies right now, normal is out the window. There's nothing normal about what's going on in the government today. So even though normal practice is what would happen normally under normal circumstances, But this is not a normal circumstance. If outside come in, we have no clue what's going to happen. And that's putting it as plainly as I can. We expect that they will use us. Yes, yes, absolutely. We hope that they would use us and work along with us. But it's not mandatory. They don't have to. There's nothing that says that their protocol calls for us to assist them. They can decide to go independent if they want, because it's so bad, right? And I'm gonna check up more on that. But um, I'm glad you brought that up, so I can check on it. But yeah, normally they would, but right now it's not a guarantee that I'm aware of. Um, Grateful for it all says members don't seem to care. Um, they're too busy shouting. Um, yeah, some people are, but again, remember when we talk about members, it's not every single person in the organization that we're talking about. There's a lot of people that don't care for what's happening, don't care for what Mr. Cunningham is doing, don't care for what the council is doing, and they're ready for this to be over. Many, 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 many people all over the organization. Yet there's still people who are traveling, who are attending, because let's face it, again, when you're dealing with thousands of people, I can't come on here and truthfully say, well, the people not doing this, the people not doing that, the people will do this, the people, I can't say that. It's a huge group of people. And the truth of the matter is, none of us know what's going to happen at any given time. And I used to say certain things about what's going to happen. I now understand because this whole thing has surprised me. I'm expecting this to happen, it doesn't. I'm expecting that to happen, it doesn't. Right? So I'm even learning throughout this process, there is no guarantees. It's all give and take. And we're just hoping that for the best, all of us can continue to come together and pull this out together. Um, Grateful for it all. Perhaps shutting the doors to UHOP would make the members realize how serious this is. Yeah, but again, that's not what we want because if the doors are closed, then that leaves a lot of other problems. Unfortunately, we're in this situation because the people have not stood up. And we're in this situation because the people didn't know to stand up. And we're still in this situation because realistically, I mean, let's face it, this has only been since January. I've only been talking about outside coming in since January. This is a 107-year-old organization. And we're talking about 4 months of me talking about outside. So my point is that we have to look at ourselves and realize that people have some common sense if they tap into it. Again, people are waking up. We have to at least trust that people are looking at the information, the evidence, and the documents in front of them. That's what we have to trust. Um, and as a result, they're coming to some very concrete decisions. So, with that in mind, um, we'll see. We'll see. Um, but time will tell. Um, Scarine says, so why do any members should think that should not happen to the bishops for misappropriating? Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, the law, this is not talking about the bishop misappropriating funds. Everybody understand. This is saying if the people misappropriate funds, they would be taken to court. And what Miss Karina's saying, so why, if they're going to take the people to court, so why do y'all think that you should not be taking the bishop to court? And it's a very, very valid point that she's making. And what I'm saying no to is for everybody to not to understand that this is not talking about um, the bishop misappropriating funds. This is talking about the people. He wants the people to be taken to court for misappropriating funds, but then the law should apply to him. But this is the whole problem. Mr. Cunningham and this entire general council does not want the laws to apply to them. And what the members don't understand, here we go again, top of the world. What the members don't understand is that they're protecting Men who don't want to be held accountable to the laws, even though they're holding you and everybody else accountable to the laws. They're fining you thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. They're taking people's titles and positions left and right. They're embarrassing and humiliating people on the floor in front of everybody. But they don't want to be held accountable to the laws. Think about that. And the only ones that's not holding them are the members. And we're clapping and applauding and playing music in the honor and the celebration of this man, exalting him, playing music for him, just because he sat inside of a chair that the members don't know was rigged, that election. So that excuses everything he's done? No. People, we got to do better. So Jamal says, are you still doing a peaceful protest in May in DC? I'm interested. Sorry, I forgot to email you. Email me about that. We don't yet, right? We can't really plan a whole lot of things because we have to look into some other things. The peaceful protest that was over in Charlotte, some people have talked about a protest in DC. All of you who's interested in doing a protest, you have to email us. But let us know by email, and then we can go from there. But we'll see, depending on how many people do reach out, and then we'll reach back out to you all, and we'll let y'all know whatever's coming up and what we come up with, depending on the numbers of people. A lot of people have told themselves, well, I don't need to, because they're going to have, no, listen, if there's something you want, if there's something you want to hear, if there's something you want to talk about, bring it up, talk about it. Email us anyway. Don't take the position, well, other people are going to do it. No, this is the problem throughout the organization now. Everybody's waiting on everybody else. And by everybody, I'm only saying that to imply whoever it applies to. Everyone is not. Some people are emailing, some people are commenting, some people are texting. But if you think anything, desire anything, want anything, shoot it to our email. I will be coming back so that I can do comments, emails, and answer your questions that's been sent through those channels openly so everybody can hear them also. But thank you, Jamal. I look forward to hearing from you. Top of the World says Cunningham said that we don't believe in taking our brothers and sisters to court. I'm sure he's saying that now. But if you think about it, all the bishops said this, right? We even have laws that they wrote to not take. Listen, these are just more lies. The fact of the matter is, they're not our brothers and sisters. The ones stealing and robbing and lying to us, they're not your brother and sister neither. And neither is he your father. Neither was the other men before him. These are people who have taken this organization and ran it through a machine to squeeze every single thing out of it that they can. This has literally been an organized. He does not want us to take each other to court. But I just read in the law that if you misappropriate funds, the bishop is saying that the house of prayer are going to take you to court. Do y'all understand? Do y'all see the double play here? What's good for the goose is not good for the gander. You want to use laws against the members, but you don't want the members to use those same laws against you. That's not how this works, right? So I'm sure he did say that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Top of the World. Lamel says, and the lie detector test determined. Cunningham, you are not the father. That's cute. But I'm sure he knows, and by now everybody else should. But it's terrible. Before I close out, before I finish the comments, I want to share this. Almost forgot. This is now going on, and this is now online. Okay. UHOP Walkathon. Register to participate. Registration deadline May 1st, 2026. Um, so walkathon, but I want to blow this up right here. Okay. Real small words, but I blew it up so you can see it. Right. Raffles, vendors, spiritual service. So what is this walkathon about? It's just, listen, people, we have to at some point come to understand that every idea that people are putting together is because they're trying to get people out. They want bodies out, and then they're going to sell you something. Period. And there's people coming together, pastors, chairmen, and you got members coming up with ideas just to put more money in the house of prayer. A walkathon. This has nothing to do with their desire to help you with your health. This has nothing to do. This is just a new idea. It's just like the COR group, Children of Return group, coming up with different ideas. That's all it is, to keep people coming out just to get your money. That's what it's all about. If you stop looking into this stuff and attending these things, then you'll stop being taken advantage of. Keep your money, hold on to your money, take care of your families, take care of your responsibilities, take care of your financial obligations at home. Stop putting yourselves in a financial bind. Stop leading yourselves into financial ruin by doing all the stuff that the members of the House of Prayer have been led into doing without a second thought, because it's just taking and taking and taking and taking our money and leaving you hanging out to dry. So, people, eventually, we have to. It's like there's a woman, a poet, on the tip of my tongue. When people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. The bishops have been showing us all these years how much they care about the people. Nothing. There's mice and rats in these apartment buildings and houses that the bishops have built because there's no maintenance. There's mice and rats and roaches in the kitchens and cafeterias. They're not taking care of this stuff. I'm telling you all, y'all can keep going if you want, but I'm telling you, and I'm telling you what the members are dealing with. The seniors, we have to look into this situation as well, because it's terrible what they're being put through. It's terrible what the children are being put through behind closed doors. They can't say anything because they're children. But these are proven to be true by people that it happened to. And they're now telling their stories. They're waiting to come forward because this is embarrassing for them. We're not trying to embarrass anybody. We're certainly not trying to take their story to put it out here just so you can believe anything I say. I'm not using people that way. That's not what the channel's for. There's enough violations that the leaders have committed and the council has committed without us having to pour that on the mix so that people can be further humiliated, further traumatized by what happened to them as children. We need our people to care about every single member who's getting hurt, every single member who has ever been hurt, every single member who has a relative that's been hurt. We need to care because it's quite obvious after all these 100+ years, the leaders have never cared. If they did, they would be doing what I'm doing to put stops to these things that's been going on and right now still going on. Mr. Cunningham has done nothing about it, just like the ones before him has done nothing about it. But what will happen is you will be held accountable for all these things. Members, it's time for us to stand up. Not quite yet. Sit back, wait for the General Assembly. And I'll give you some more instructions in all these upcoming videos. The screen says, I'm saying if they come in, they will decide how to move forward with whomever will govern. But I'm asking if the General Assembly put those people out at that point, who will govern. Um, your question is twofold. So I'm saying if they come in, they will decide how to move forward with whomever will govern. But I'm asking if the General Assembly put those people out at that point, who will govern. If outside comes in, everything in the House of Prayer stops. The people that are in positions, okay, I said earlier, everybody hear me clearly, 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 because we're creatures of habit. We hear, but we're still looking at what the House of Prayer has done over the last 100 years. Ignore the general council, ignore the bishop, period. Ignore all of them. The general council. Understand this: there is no governing in the House of Prayer. There is no governing in the House of Prayer. I'm going to say it one more time. There's no governing. How can I say that? Truthfully say that. Because the governing body, according to the law of the land, is a board of directors or a general assembly. We don't have a board of directors that the members are aware of. We do have a general assembly that all the members are aware of. So, by that one fact alone, the General Assembly is supposed to be the governing body. But since the General Assembly has been hijacked by the leader, which is the bishop, who in reality is not the leader of the organization. See, they've been playing this over and over and over and over and over in our heads so long that we now believe that they are leaders. But the CEO is supposed to be the CEO is supposed to be um, following. The CEO is supposed to be following the instructions of the General Assembly, just like they followed the instructions of the board of directors. So since we don't have a board that the people are aware of, and we do have a General Assembly, but the General Assembly don't know yet that they're the ones in charge, that their job is to govern the organization, that means we don't have a governing within the organization. There is no governing body that we have currently. In making the members aware of the laws of the land, maybe for the first time in the history of the House of Prayer, the people will come who understands that you are the government and your job is to come and set the General Assembly straight. Because right now, they've been tricking everybody into coming and getting nothing done. Nothing. So if the General Assembly delegates walk in there this year after all of this information, after all of the things I'm going to be telling you, after everything I'm going to tell you to write down, whoever you are, if they go in there and walk out this year, then the blame is on the Listen, the outside agencies already understand that there is no governing body. If they come in, they're either going to do one of two things. They're either going to create from the members within a temporary governance board, while everything else, the bishop, the council, the pastors, everything freezes. Stop. You have no power, you have no authority whatsoever. They may not be allowed on any of the properties of the organization during the investigation. however long it takes. I'm not going to say all the other things, but they will be on freeze restrictions because the outside will see that they've run the organization into the ground. They're not going to let them continue running the organization into the ground. They will stop and halt everything, even without saying no one is guilty of anything. They're not going to say that they're guilty. They come in saying that we're going to investigate. Everything stops. Whoever's in a position, there are no positions. Everything stops. We are going to establish a group that's going to work with us, or we're going to bring our own group. Those are the only two things. Either way, the outside will set up and establish their own governance within the organization. And because we don't have any control over what they're going to do, we don't want that to happen. What I'm saying is it's better for that to happen than for our members to keep doing nothing and allowing these men to keep running this organization the way they've been running it. We need to take a chance, expecting the members to go in there and do what they need to do. But if they don't, then outside, it's better that they come, even if they do whatever. It's better that our people stop being lied to and putting their trust in this man while they take and take and take and take from them. If nothing else happens, if the doors shut, at least our people no longer going to be broke. They're not going to be pouring their money into the pockets of wealthy people while they thank them for spending $10,000 in hotel rooms and renting cars. Listen, we've been gypped for so long that we just gotten used to it. We just got used to it. And it's no big deal to many people. I'll keep giving him all my money. I don't care. And that's the problem. The problem is you don't care for that 1% of people that's saying, I don't care. While you're the one that's being hurt. So there's some people that words won't do nothing for. And there's some people that even prayer will do nothing for. And all through the scripture, there's some people that you just couldn't reach. There's many Israelites that even the Father couldn't reach. He told Jeremiah, go and tell them they're not going to hear you, but you tell them anyway. You tell them anyway, but they're not going to hear you. Even he got fed up with a lot of the Israelites, called them stiff-necked, hard-headed, stiff-necked. Even the Father got so fed up with them, he told Moses, step aside, I will kill every last one of them right now. That's how angry they made him. Just being, And we can't be like that. We got to be smarter than that. So, with that, if outside come inside, they're going to bring their own governing body. And that's how it will go. They might use people from within the organization. They might not. They might bring their own independence. We have no idea. Right? But they are going to choose how. But one thing's for sure. The bishop, council, pastors, they won't be doing nothing if the outside come in. They're going to be sitting on the side waiting while they investigate and look at every single thing that's been going on, knowing full well that they're going to find dirt everywhere. It's just a matter of time. That's why I've always maintained it's better for the men to come forward here within council, Cunningham, Mr. Cunningham, Jimmy Jones, Mr. Jones, Miss Madison. But if they don't, that's not, hey, okay, no problem. No problem. I'm not one to say I told you so. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to hear, what you need to see, and it's on you. So with that in mind, thank you for that, Corrine. Janine says, yeah, because outsiders come into UHOP and take videos and come on YouTube and teach that the UHOP is a cult. Yeah, but I'm making also the same videos and teaching that it's a cult. We have members on the inside also taking recordings and teaching that it's a cult. We don't like the idea that the House of Prayer is a cult. I don't like it. I didn't believe it was a cult because I was indoctrinated. The best thing that every single one of us can do for each other is to wake us up. That's the best thing. Wake us up. Because here's the thing, if the morning comes and he cracked the sky, everybody believing in Mr. Cunningham, ooh, hello. If you are a believer in Mr. Cunningham, when he cracked the sky, when you come and you calling on him, when all this destruction comes, you calling on Mr. Cunningham, who gonna save you? The scripture says, no other name. There's only one name that the Father put power in to save all of mankind. All of mankind. All of mankind. That name is not Mr. Cunningham. That name is not title Daddy. Daddy will not save anybody. Period. And for those of you who keep thinking that that title has to do with the Holy Spirit that the Father sent, it's because you've been indoctrinated. You've been indoctrinated to believe in that title instead of believing in the Father. You've been indoctrinated to believe in that title instead of believing in the Son. The same way I was. I was. Believing in Daddy will take you straight down to the pit. Because Daddy is the trick that they've been using to make themselves rich. They've been using that title to make themselves rich off of your money, off of your time, off of your efforts. Every single thing these bishops have done is to create income streams. And Miss Dolores Madison, the money that's in the House of Prayer, she's taking it, buying up a bunch of stuff to create more income streams for herself. While you all, like I used to, keep referring to and calling on Daddy. That's the truth of the matter. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth of the matter. And while you sit there and see him pull up and Miss Madison pull up in the cars that they pull up in, while these councilmen sit up there and get you and they raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand, they're involved. Um, anyway, uh, thank you for that. And Green says they want to make it look like they're doing something and they're not. Right, right. They're not doing anything, nothing whatsoever. Grateful for it all. Who wants to walk alongside liars and crooks? But this is what people are doing all the time. Grateful for the walk to the bank and give the members their money back. Yeah. Golden Boy, thank you. Maya Angelou. Yeah, it's the tip of my tongue. Grateful for that's right. Hello from Jesus is it. Right. Cult. It is a cult. 100% cult. Janine says exactly. Black Diamonds. Hello, everyone. The real talk is a cult. The definition is indoctrination of false practice that was enslaved by mindset manipulation of our Heavenly Father, Holy Spirit in His Bible. Yeah. Nothing but cult. 100%. Black Diamonds. You're 100% correct. Janine Duncan. Never believed that. Absolutely. And we're thankful that for those of us who did believe it, that He opened up our eyes so that we can come away from that. So at this time, I want to thank you all for all of your time, for tuning in, for listening in. Understand, when I come back, the next video, we're going to begin We're going to walk you through the Constitution. Then we're going to walk through the Supreme Laws. Then we're going to walk through the auxiliary bylaws. Then we're going to walk through the Are You Aware? But I'm not going to go through everything in here. This is just way too much information. But while we're doing that, I'm going to also begin to go over Robert's Rules of Order, because you need to understand what it is, how it works, and why it's there. This is what the bishops have said that we use. So we're going to hold them accountable to what it is that they say that they hold us to. So all that said, thank you so much for your time, for your attention. We hope that you enjoyed this time. We hope that you enjoy the remainder of your evening. We hope that you enjoy the remainder of your night. And we hope that our Father blesses you throughout the night to have a peaceful sleep, and that He wakes us all up in the morning so that we can have another opportunity to get our souls and ourselves right with Him, and so that we can also do what is necessary to come into the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding that He wants us to have to undo the mess that we've gotten ourselves in. Golden Boy, thank you for that. We want to remember that we have a TikTok channel, TikTok at ithink.com / UHOP.reform and governance. And at the same token, we want to also remember that not only the channel, the TikTok channel, but also 24 UHOP Needs Truth 24 on YouTube. There's clips there. You can receive and hear different recordings of Mr. Cunningham and other incidents as well. Kareem says she's not finished. Let's go to another topic next. It's early. It is early. However, I didn't finish what I have to take care of, and I still have not done what I need to do at home with my son, and he's got school. So, but I thank you all, and I'm trying to get these things, the videos, done earlier. So the comments, please write them down so that you can post them in the next video or put them in the comment section here. But thank you so much. And we may be doing another online fellowship this Saturday instead of at 3 o'clock instead of the Bible study. We just finished up Isaiah. We've been in Isaiah for 2.5 years, I think, or not 3, maybe 3. But thank you all again. Thank you for everything. We hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful night, and we hope that you enjoy your day tomorrow, if it's our Father's will. But at this time, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.